Welcome back, Berserkers. We are back with the news. All the news is new and improved by the U.S. Army, the sweetest smelling army in the world. Actually, today's video is brought to you by EKSTER.com, luxury accessories for men. We have wallets, we have card holders. On to the news. Today we're going to be talking about the Cybertruck, whether or not it was a failure or a success. Now here's the thing. If you don't know what the Cybertruck is because you've been living under a rock or because you're deaf, blind, mute, whatever have it, we'll go back. Don't worry, Uncle Dave's got you. Starting back in April of 2017, Elon Musk was on a TED Talk or some type of interview, one of those interviews where smart people congratulate each other about being smart. During that interview, he said that it was imperative that Tesla made a pickup truck in order to enter the pickup truck market because the Ford F-150 was one of the best-selling vehicles and had been for a long, long time.
Our goal here is to have something that's more functional than an F-150.
Without a pickup truck, Tesla was not going to make it. So Tesla was going to make what he deemed a badass pickup truck. Fast forward to March, I think, of 2018 during the Model Y unveil, and Tesla snuck in a sneak peek of what the Cybertruck would look like. And by sneak peek, I meant that all they showed was the light bar in the darkness, but not in a way that you're like, oh, that's a light bar in the darkness. It just kind of looked like there was this odd line of light and a little Tesla logo, which actually never made it to the final production, and nobody caught it at that point. But one thing that you can count on with Tesla is that their Tesla soldiers are going to go to work trying to figure out and predict what Uncle Elon's got going on next. So, period between 2017 and March of 2018, and especially March of 2018 until the unveil in 2019, was rife with YouTube creators and people online photoshopping and zhuzhing up little pictures of what they assumed, thought, predicted, hoped the Tesla Cybertruck would look like. Everything from the Warthog from Halo to just bananas, little polygon things put together. Things that looked like the Model X front with a random pickup truck back. Anything you can imagine. All kinds of different looks that people were predicting or hoping that the Tesla Cybertruck would look like. Fun fact, just about everybody was very, very wrong about what it would look like. But they tried their best. So then we end up in November of 2019. If you're interested in a little bit more about hearing about Tesla soldiers, you can go back to my early video on Tesla soldiers, or you can check my more recent video on Tesla's primal branding. November 2019, picture it. There we were, Sicily, 1927. November 2019, the Tesla Cybertruck is unveiled. I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago. I wasn't there, but I was online watching. And everyone kind of had the same sort of reaction to it. Just before the unveil, they had a block party outside, and the DeLorean from Back to the Future was there, and nobody really understood why the DeLorean from Back to the Future was there until the truck actually came out on stage, and you saw, oh, the truck is stainless steel and kind of has the DeLorean nod to it. The reaction process that most people had as soon as the truck came out through the smoke, everybody kind of threw up inside of their mouth just a little bit. Now, I was one of those people. I saw it, and just for an instant, my literal, actual, verbatim thought when I first saw it was, oh man, they screwed it up. Here we had all this buildup, all this hype, multiple interviews. Franz von Holzhausen did an interview just before the unveil. Elon Musk did an interview just before the unveil. Elon Musk said that it was going to be the most compelling product that they'd ever made and that it looks like an armored personnel carrier from the future. Franz von Holzhausen was a little bit more coy, a little bit less detailed in his interview, but he did give an interview where he talked about how amazing and, quote, badass the Cybertruck was going to be. Then we see it come out through the smoke and everybody's kind of like, what is this thing? Now me, I got over that a little bit faster. I kind of came around faster than most people. When it came out of the smoke, I was like, they messed up. But by the time it got on the stage 4 seconds later, my attitude was, I must have it. I have to buy that thing. Most people took a little bit longer. Now, during that unveil, all of the features started coming out. The durability, the ruggedness, the fact that the thing is bulletproof. The bulletproof up to a 9mm handgun, that's not something that you get out of your normal production car that comes off the line. Not to mention the fact that the glass was supposed to be unbreakable until the glass break heard around the world. Now, on the one hand, yes, the glass did break right after Elon said, Franz, can you please try to break this glass?
Could you try to break this glass, please?
But on the other hand, if you throw a steel bocce ball at any other car, it's going to go through the glass and injure somebody on the inside. The glass, sure, it spidered, it shattered, it broke, but the ball didn't go through. The glass still resisted the kinetic energy of the ball and prevented the thing from going into the cabin and potentially injuring somebody inside. Most people call it a failure. I call it success. After that unveiling, there was people split into exactly 3 camps. One, my camp, must have it. It shall be mine. Oh yes, it shall be mine. Camp number 2, oh, it's not going to be, it's garbage, it's crap, I hate it, it's ugly, I despise it, and the glass broke. Camp number 3, it's vaporware. They're never going to make it. This is a publicity stunt. No one would ever make such an ugly, weird, hideous, crappy vehicle. It's vaporware. So you've got your, they're going to make it and it's ugly and I hate it. You've got the, it's beautiful and I must have it. And then you've got the, it's vaporware camp. Now, one of the things that made the I must have it camp so big is that the announced price was going to start at $39,900. I'm going to say that again for the cheap seats, $39,900. That is not what happened. We know that now. But what that led to, or at least contributed to, was that there were reportedly as many, Elon has said, 1 million pre-orders. The Cybertruck Owners Club had an unofficial count going where people who had a reservation were able to upload their reservation number to their reservation tracker, and that reservation tracker got up to somewhere in the neighborhood of like 1.6, 1.8 million, and that led people to theorize subjectively that there may be as many as 2 million pre-orders for the Cybertruck, because you got 1.6, 1.8 million of people that are willing to upload their reservation number and actually throw up a flag and say, yes, I reserved this thing. So there were as many as 2 million possibly, but 1 million confirmed pre-orders, leading people to think that this was going to be one of the best-selling vehicles anywhere, but certainly one of Tesla's best-selling vehicles. Even Elon said it's going to be the most compelling product, and he predicts a run rate of about 250,000 vehicles per year once it ramps up. And then COVID, then 2020, and then chip shortages, and then material shortages, and then runaway inflation, and then every other macro environment, upward pressure on prices for everything. Everybody knows our grocery costs have tripled. Everybody knows that power bills have doubled. Everybody knows that their gas bill has tripled. Everybody knows that everything everywhere costs 2 or 3 times as much as it ever did before, and certainly 2 or 3 times as much as it ever should.
More like 4.5 times.
Yes, 4.5 times. There are things out there that are absolutely, they've quadrupled, nearly quintupled in price. You just can't get anything for what it used to cost.
99 cents for whipped cream is now $5.25.
True story.
It's the worst thing that's happened to me.
Ron, where are you?
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
That's delicious first world problems. So, as we said, whipped cream has quadrupled in price, so there's no way that we can make the Cybertruck for what we were supposed to. Whipped cream is quintupled in price, so there's no way we're going to make the Cybertruck for what we were supposed to be able to make the Cybertruck for. So when the Cybertruck actually launched, it launched for prices that were just astronomical. I made this in my Why I Didn't Buy the Cybertruck video. Feel free to check that one out. But when I reserved the Cybertruck, I was supposed to get a tri-motor Cybertruck for $70,000. What my purchase contract actually said was $124,000. Now that, of course, in the spirit of academic honesty, that was talking about a Foundation Series Cyber Beast, which is, you know, the Foundation Series was more expensive on its own merits. Decide for yourself whether or not the Foundation Series was worth more, but essentially the Foundation Series was about $20,000 more because of the little accoutrement, and it had full self-driving. Again, the full self-driving I had locked in at $7,000 on a $70,000 truck, so it should have been a $77,000 truck with full self-driving and 3 motors. Ended up being, if you subtract the Foundation Series accoutrement, you get a $104,000 truck without full self-driving. And that just was not a place where I was willing to go. And we found out very quickly that most people were not willing to go there at that price to get the Cybertruck. One of the early quarters that the Cybertruck was available for sale, when the Giga Texas had gotten to the point to where it had almost ramped up to a full-size run rate, one of those early quarters, they posted their delivery numbers, and the delivery numbers of the Cybertruck were broken out from everything else. It was Model 3Y, Model SX, and then Cybertruck numbers. The reason they were happy to do that is because during that early quarter, the Cybertruck had held its own and had outsold every other electric pickup truck in that quarter, which was a bragging number. So they broke that number out so that they could brag about it. Objectively now, it is not selling that well. We're in October 2025 right now. They just released delivery numbers, and 15,000 is the delivery number for quote-unquote other models. That's Model S, Model X, and Cybertruck combined only sold 15,000 units throughout the entire quarter. By an objective standard, that means that, number one, it would appear they are trying to hide the Cybertruck delivery numbers in with the S and X, and number two, objectively disappointing numbers. You have to remember that one of the primary movers for the Gigafactory Texas being built entirely is, number one, to build the Cybertruck, and number two, to build the Model Y. Model Y is still doing everything that Model Y has always done. It's the top-selling vehicle on planet Earth, bar none. Not the top-selling electric vehicle, not the top-selling SUV, not the top-selling consumer vehicle. It's the top-selling vehicle, point blank, period, full stop. So the Model Y is essentially subsidizing the Cybertruck's factory. Now, that is not a new thing in production. It's not a new thing in any type of production. Record companies for decades have subsidized their crappy, unpopular acts with their really popular acts. Movie studios have for decades subsidized their crappy, unpopular movies with their popular movies, their blockbusters, their hits. That is a thing that happens. The unpopular products get subsidized by popular products all the time. Not necessarily to this scale, to this tune. And it's kind of caused a catch-22. Because of the fact that it doesn't have the volume that it was predicted to have, you don't get economies of scale for the Cybertruck. And what would cause the Cybertruck to be more popular is a lower price. But the thing that would cause the price to go down is for the Cybertruck to be bought more often. So if the Cybertruck was more popular, they could lower the price. But since they can't lower the price, the Cybertruck won't be more popular. Catch-22. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So, is the Cybertruck objectively a failure? Yes, no, always, sometimes, never, kind of, sort of, not really, but yes, but no. The fact is that Elon said that they were going to make the Cybertruck regardless of whether or not it was a commercial success. He said it many, many times. He said it on Joe Rogan, so you all heard him say it. The Cybertruck is going to get made, period. Whether you like it, whether you buy it, it's Elon's daily driver. He loves it, and he's the richest man on the planet, and the company has billions and billions and billions of dollars stockpiled in war chests all over the place. They're going to continue to make the Cybertruck whether or not it's popularly purchased. So is that a failure? I don't know. It's a pet project for the owner. It's going to continue to get made. Number two, regardless of whether or not you like the Cybertruck, there are people out there who love it and talk about it. There are entire YouTube channels built around the Cybertruck. There are entire X.com accounts, Twitter accounts, that are centered around the Cybertruck. And whether you like it or not, every time you see a Cybertruck on the road, your brain takes notice of it. Your reticular activating system notices that the Cybertruck is there, and you see it, which means that every company that buys a Cybertruck and wraps it has a rolling billboard. There are plenty of companies that pay for billboard advertising, and you don't see them getting sold out there and rolling around at the same volume as Toyota Camrys, but people love their billboards. This is a rolling billboard. So it's going to continue to get purchased by businesses that want to have significant advertising at an affordable cost.
Looks like one, too.
It does look like a rolling billboard. Yes, it looks like a rolling billboard or a Virtua Fighter from the Sega Saturn. So use cases that we thought were going to be out there, for example, people who, the type of guy that just buys a pickup truck, even though he doesn't have anything to pick up, you know you're out there. You're out there in droves. That's why the Ford F-150 is the most popular selling vehicle in the country from time to time. There are lots of guys that buy a pickup truck and then don't pick anything up. They just think that they're a pickup guy and they buy a pickup. It's okay. That's fine. Then there are lots of guys that have, like, say, a mother-in-law that likes to move, and yet they need space to move stuff in a pickup truck.
I wonder who that's referring to.
Could be anybody, son. Could be anybody. Then there are people that actually need a work truck. They have a side business. They're a handyman. For their main business, there are landscapers, contractors that need a good pickup truck. Those guys are not going to buy a $100,000 truck to throw dirt and rocks and landscaping equipment into. They're just not. It's not going to happen. that price must come down before those popular use cases are going to be out there for. However, use cases that were not anticipated are out there. This thing is in rap videos. Celebrities are buying it. Wealthy people all over the place are buying this thing up, snapping it up, and buying it for red carpets, buying it for their music videos, buying it for the attention that it gets, because there are people that love attention and have the money to buy the attention. Same thing with businesses that are using it as a marketing ploy. They're buying it, they're wrapping it, they're putting QR codes on it, they're putting advertisement in. There is a roofing company in my area, Bison Roofing. It's got a bison and it's bright orange, and I have no reason to know about Bison Roofing. But I know it because there's a bright orange Cybertruck rolling around here with a giant bison on it. Bison Roofing is not sponsoring the channel nor the video. It's just so happens I'm making a point. Video sponsored by EKSTER.com. Oi, have you seen my driver's license?
No.
Oi, have you seen my debit card?
No, I haven't seen your debit card.
Oi, have you seen my credit card?
Dad, just take an extra wallet.
Oh, a
No,
card holder.
take the white one, because you're going to lose the black one. Actually, you know what? You're going to lose the white one, too. Take the tracker card.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
So the use cases are out there for the Cybertruck to be selling in the numbers that it's selling in right now. How are we going to get that price to be pressed down? We still have to find economies of scale for the Cybertruck to be commercially viable. Now, there are ways that this can happen. For example, I don't think that any company is above talking to the government, the military, for those use cases. There are police departments that are replacing their fleets slowly but surely with Cybertrucks. A lot of the Crown Vic didn't have any armor in it. The Dodge Charger didn't have any armor in it. A lot of the Tahoes have armor put in it after the fact, but police departments, by and large, do not armor their vehicles at all. It's a normal vehicle driving around out there with a bullseye on it, and these cops take their lives in their hands every day just on normal patrol, just driving around.
What do you know about it?
Oh, you know what? I may know a thing or two about the needs of law enforcement. I may know a thing or two about SWAT teams. I may know a thing or two. I just may know a thing or two. Who knows? Maybe I read a lot. Maybe I enjoy TED Talks. I don't know. Could be anything. So the fact of being able to buy a vehicle for your law enforcement agency, be able to have some form of armor in it from the factory is a significant boon for law enforcement agencies. So we know that Elon has no problem talking to government, being involved in government, having a hand in government. He has plenty of government contracts through SpaceX. He knows how to talk with these people. They like to shake hands. Now, it just so happens that one coinky-dinky is that the government is trying to figure out a new vehicle to replace the Jeep. The Jeep has been in service since World War II, because at the time of World War II, the Army was still reliant upon, well, prior to World War II, Army was still reliant on horses, motorcycles, and the Model T Ford to get equipment to the front lines. So the Jeep came about as kind of the necessity being the mother of invention. The need for a new vehicle came around, and boom, the different companies got together, 3 different companies I think got together and ended up designing and producing the Jeep. Now the government's looking for a new one, and now there is a current vehicle that they're testing called the ISV. Now the ISV, by all accounts, is phenomenal. It is probably going to be the thing that replaces the Jeep for the use cases that the Jeep is using right now in combat. However, the ISV is windowless and doorless. Not a problem, considering that the use case for the Jeep doesn't have a top on it at all. So those particular use cases. However, if you're given the choice, you can have the windowless, doorless ISV, or you can have the Cybertruck and ride in luxury with the air conditioning on. I would say you probably want to choose that. Price-wise, it's about the same to take a Cybertruck or to take an ISV. Price-wise, they're about the same. And one of them has air conditioning. The other one is windowless and doorless. I'm not mad at the ISV. I think it's a phenomenal vehicle based upon everything that I've heard and seen about it. But it doesn't change the fact that given the choice, and I'm saying that's very specifically, given the choice between one or the other, people would probably choose to ride to battle in the Cybertruck versus in a doorless, windowless vehicle. Again, I'm just saying, given that choice.
I feel like being able to charge would be rather inconvenient, though.
It's entirely possible, but you remember, you still have to fuel up everything. Anything that you took to battle, you'd have to fuel up. Whether it's a horse or a motorcycle, you still have to fuel it up. And I think that might be. So the Cybertruck had the range extender, and so the range extender is not going to get made for public consumption. We know that already. They've already said, nope, it's out of the pool. We're done here. However, that's not to say that they scrapped the design of it. Not only that, we know that Tesla did in fact patent the solar tonneau cover for it to be charging up in the sun with absent of any external charging. But that doesn't mean that they stopped engineering on that solar tonneau cover. Number one, they didn't roll it out for public consumption. Number two, the patent is there and Tesla owns it. So I'm sure that they've got the big brains at Tesla and SpaceX working on that solar tonneau cover or some type of more efficient solar cell to make it more likely that that solar tonneau cover could be charging up more of the battery than it's able to right now. And would that be commercially viable for cost? I don't know, not for the public consumption. However, Uncle Sam's got deep pockets and has no problem spending $30,000 on a toilet seat or a hammer. So yes, he'd be willing to spend an exorbitant amount of money to have solar tonneau covers that could keep the Cybertruck charging up throughout the process of driving wherever they're driving in order to keep the troops in battle, keep them supplied, keep them moving around.
And keep their money lined. So the pockets lined.
And yes, keep their pockets lined. You know, the
$2 million solar tonneau cover. Yeah. It's a good tax write-off.
I'm sure it's a good tax write-off. Not only that, some of that, the $30,000 toilet seat doesn't go all to the toilet seat. Some of it falls out the back of the factory and ends up in the pockets of congressmen, or it ends up funding something like Area 51 or Area 52, in fact. Who knows? Facts being facts. Tesla and Elon know how to negotiate with the government. I would not be surprised to see government contracts coming out for federal SWAT teams, for federal law enforcement agencies, or for the military itself to start utilizing the Cybertruck in far greater quantities in order to make a business case for economies of scale to come into play for the Cybertruck. And that would also solve the problem eventually of getting the price down for the Cybertruck and getting into more public hands. If Tesla and Elon can negotiate government contracts, which I'm sure are unpopular with the public out there, but you know what? The people who hate for Tesla and SpaceX to have government contracts are the people who hate Tesla and SpaceX independent of the government contracts. They were going to hate anyway. If you got haters, it means you're successful. If you don't have any haters, get successful, get you some haters. That'll mark the fact that you're actually doing something that's worth doing. If you don't want any haters, then do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. That's fine. The people who are going to detract from Tesla and SpaceX were going to do it anyway. But if Tesla and SpaceX can negotiate government contracts where the Cybertruck can be used in large volumes by military, by the federal police agencies, and by federal SWAT teams, then the presence of Giga Texas and that run rate of 250,000 Cybertrucks a year can start reaching its max capacity. And when it does that, we'll hit economies of scale. The price can come down. Again, economies of scale will naturally bring the price down. And when that starts happening, they can lower the price on the Tesla.com website for the average knucklehead like me to buy one. And when that price starts coming down, more people can start buying it. That 1.8, 1.6 million people, the 1 million confirmed reservation holders that wanted that Cyber Beast at 70 grand, wanted that Dual at 50 grand, they're going to come back. They're going to say, wait a minute, now I can get that Cyber Beast to 70, now I can get my Dual motor at 50 grand. They're going to come back and get it. Now Tesla tried this a little bit with that the single motor Tesla Cybertruck or the long range Tesla Cybertruck. Depends on what they call it. It's been called the single motor. It's been called the rear wheel drive. It's been called the long range. I call it the bait and switch because you can't take all of the features off the Cybertruck, put it on there for $10,000 less than dual motor, and expect people to actually buy it. Nobody bought the doggone thing. Nobody bought it. What happened was they went to look at it. They said, oh, I heard the Cybertruck's cheaper. They looked at it. They said, oh, it's only 10 grand less than the one I really wanted. So then they spend the extra 10 grand and get the other one. Those people were going to buy a Cybertruck anyway. That did not drive any volume at all. That was garbage. We're not doing the Cybertruck bait and switch. What you need to do is negotiate with the government to have large government contracts to put Cybertrucks in federal police agencies, military applications, federal SWAT teams, and that even trickle down into influencing local police agencies and state police agencies to using the Cybertruck. You start running that 250,000 of them a year, the price will come down for the average person to want one and be able to afford it. Every $10,000 you reduce the price on something, you essentially double the number of people in the developed world that can actually afford the thing. Bring that price down, it will become the most popular vehicle that Tesla is producing. So is it a failure? Yes, no, maybe, always, sometimes, never. Right now, I would say it's a disappointment as far as the number of deliveries that they're having, but there is a huge opportunity to make it to be still the most successful vehicle that Tesla has. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think. Let me know how much you hate me. Let me know how much you love me. Mount up, Berserkers. On to the next battle.